Today, let's talk about how to be a winner in business. This is Daryl Mobley with Catapult Leaders, and I'm sharing with you excerpts from a talk by former Procter & Gamble CEO Ed Artzt. Ed gave this talk at the start of my career in corporate America. His advice has stood the test of time and can help you reach your professional goals. All right, how to be a winner in business by Ed Artzt. A couple of years ago, I gave a talk to some graduate business school students who were interested in careers at Procter & Gamble. I think the basic ideas can be applied by anyone who wants to be a winner in business. So I'm sharing with you some excerpts from that talk. Winning in business requires an exceptional combination of attitude, skills, and personal character. You can work on these skills every day in every job you hold. Everything, good or bad, in a business career starts with attitude. What you want and what you're willing to give up to get it is a function of the attitude you bring to your work. What do you want? To be successful, rich, or powerful? To run your own business? There's nothing wrong with that. But consider a more actionable goal: to become professional. More than that, to become a master professional in whatever line of work you choose. About professionalism. Mastering the fundamentals of any profession requires great sacrifice, endless repetition, and a constant search for the best way to do things. All of the great master professionals understood that. Beethoven and Vince Lombardi understood it. Chrissy Everett, Sam Walton, and Margaret Thatcher too. A professional in search of mastery brings an attitude to work that no sacrifice is too great and no grunt work too menial, if it helps achieve mastery of the fundamentals. I urge you to embrace this attitude. About winning. Winners in business have trained their minds to win against benchmarks as well as against opponents in all phases of life. If you have a quota or financial target, beat it. If you have a budget, underspend it. If you have a deadline, get in under it. If you promise 10, deliver 15. If you constantly strive to beat the benchmark, you will develop the essential tools of competitive advantage to win in the marketplace. Learning to win in this very tough, competitive world is not something you do only when it counts. You have to try to make it a part of your attitude toward your life and your work. About skills. In addition to specific functional skills unique to each job or profession, there are 3 important personal skills: communication, priority setting, and strategic thinking. About communication. One of the most underdeveloped skills among young professionals entering business today is communication. If you want to run the show someday and run it well, you would better learn to think, write, and speak in that order, clearly, forcefully, concisely, and to the point. At Procter & Gamble, we teach people to do that. You expand your potential enormously if you communicate well. An organization has a much better chance of beating the competition if people really understand what they're saying to each other. About setting priorities. Setting priorities means working on the right things, in the right order, with the right amount of energy and focus. It is a building block in developing your skill as a strategic thinker. Early on in school, we learn the value of working on the important things first and putting the trivial and fun things in their proper order. And in this process, we have to deal with our own human instinct to procrastinate. In our work, we face the same challenges, only we are busier. Learning to prioritize is a critical skill. Key long-term priorities cannot be sacrificed for short-term results or the quick satisfaction of completing less critical jobs. Setting priorities is more than just a good personal habit. It is a vital professional skill which plays a critical role in planning and implementing business strategy. To be a winner in business, you've got to be very good at it. Let me pause for a quick note. This is Daryl Mobley with Catapult Leaders, and I am sharing with you excerpts from a talk by former Procter & Gamble CEO Ed Artzt. Ed gave this talk at the start of my career in corporate America. His advice has stood the test of time and can help you reach your professional goals. Now, let's get back to how to be a winner in business. About strategic thinking. Good strategic thinking comes more easily to some people than to others. It is an acquired skill and it can be learned, but it takes enormous personal discipline. Strategic thinking is the mental process that produces strategic direction and strategic plans. How do you become a good strategic thinker? How do you develop the skill to a professional level? Study the subject in depth until you feel you really understand it. Read all the best that is written on the subject and summarize in writing what you learned from it to make sure you really understand it. Focus on understanding the work process. That is, competitive analysis, scenario development, consumer needs in the market, factors in determining low-cost producer status, technology evolution, and so on. Good strategic thinking begins with superior knowledge of the market and a clear understanding of the critical issue in each situation. The best way to develop strategic thinking skills is to work somewhere that exposes you to combat. It doesn't matter what discipline you're in or what business you're in. You need to learn how to win against someone or some force that is trying to beat you. You need to get into a situation where results of your efforts can be measured and where the soundness of your own strategic thinking can be tested in a real competitive environment. About personal growth. One piece of advice about skill development: work for people who care about your progress, not just your performance, but your progress, your growth. There is a big difference. In a promotion from within company, such as Procter & Gamble, the growth and advancement of people at all levels is critical to survival. We can't afford to have anyone in the management chain who isn't good at that, or doesn't work at it, or who doesn't get results. It is human nature that people want to keep the good producers for themselves, within their groups. But when it leads to holding good people back, that's when you lose good people. The woods are full of bosses who don't know how to develop people. They can run things, get results, and get people to work hard, but they don't know how to make people grow. They don't have mentor skills and instincts. Choose wisely. Ask prospective bosses to tell you about their track record at developing winners. About character. Even people of essentially sound character can fail for one reason or another. They fail to develop the traits that make them winners in business. I'd like to touch on just two elements of personal character: social intelligence and trust. Let me pause for a quick note. This is Daryl Mobley with Catapult Leaders, and I'm sharing with you excerpts from a talk by former Procter & Gamble CEO Ed Artzt. Ed gave this talk at the start of my career in corporate America. His advice has stood the test of time and can help you reach your professional goals. All right, let's get back to how to be a winner in business. About social intelligence. Several years ago, Reader's Digest published an article, Why Smart People Fail, which discussed the character trait, social intelligence. It said, you can have great academic intelligence and still lack social intelligence, the ability to be a good listener, to be sensitive toward others, to give and take criticism well. People with high social intelligence admit their mistakes, take their share of blame, and move on. They know how to build team support. As in the case of priority setting, social intelligence is an acquired skill. One benefit is that it helps make the people working for you want you to succeed. If your people want you to succeed, and if they want to work for you, they will try harder to win. If people don't like you or don't respect your character, they may help you fail, no matter how brilliant you are. Procter & Gamble management had assumed that our manager-subordinate relationships reflected a high degree of appreciation for the training skills of our employees. However, a broadly based survey showed that many young managers felt their bosses were not so hot in this area of social intelligence. As a result, hundreds of managers worldwide are going through executive leadership training refresher courses to help increase their skills in listening, understanding, interrelating with different personality types, and developing greater sensitivity to the needs of subordinates. That's how important we think it is. Good character traits need to be developed, and all of us very early on need to identify and correct any flaws that might stand in the way of professional growth. About trust. Trust is a character trait that does not come easily to many people. But I believe that winning managers inherently trust the judgment, competence, and integrity of their subordinates. They are successful because they communicate that feeling to their people as part of the winning spirit they create. Losing managers, on the other hand, are often inherently distrustful of the judgment, competence, or integrity of their people, and they inevitably transmit that feeling to the detriment of themselves and the enterprise. About learning to win. Success in your career is a win-lose process, and you have to learn how to be a winner. It's not something that most people just get out of bed and do. It all begins with attitude, striving to attain professionalism, and embracing winning as a way of life. It is an inner game, a way of being that comes out naturally in your work ethic and your approach to your job. You can develop winning qualities and skills in your personal life and reapply them in your work. Winning requires intense effort to develop acquired skills, particularly strategic skills, which are not always well taught. Therefore, planning your career carefully and choosing the right people to work for have an important bearing on your progress. Finally, don't ignore the development of your personal character, no matter how well you rate yourself or how successful you've been in life thus far. Unless you are perfect, you're going to have to work on yourself as you grow. Most important though, have fun. Have confidence in your judgment when you know you're right, and win. This is Daryl Mobley with Catapult Leaders, and I just shared with you excerpts from a talk from former Procter & Gamble CEO Ed Artzt. Ed gave this talk at the start of my career in corporate America. His advice has stood the test of time and can help you reach your goals, professional and personal. Now, go be a winner in business.